Emma Reynolds MP, you've come here to Harlow, you're knocking on doors. It's great to have a street light underneath you, but at midnight we're very dark here. Does that concern you?
It does worry me. I think it's a very extreme decision to switch off the lights between midnight and 6. I've been to Harlow College today. One young woman whose father works at Stansted Airport, he used to cycle to the train station and get the train into work, but he doesn't do that anymore because he doesn't feel safe at night. We've heard reports from residents on this street that there have been more car burglaries after midnight, people targeting certain areas because of the lack of light. And so we are really worried about this, and Susie Stride, who is a fantastic Labour parliamentary candidate wanting to be the MP for this area, has got a fantastic campaign against the lights going off and putting yellow ribbons on lampposts in areas where there's real concern about this.
The police have had to be, I guess, a little bit careful. The police are just saying there's no evidence there's an increase in burglaries. Do you buy that?
Well, I mean, if the police in my area say that when the clocks change and the days get shorter, they see more problems, then the logic would be that if the lights are going off overnight, then there could be more problems. And I think apart from there being more problems, also the perception people have, the fear that they have perhaps of going out at night by themselves or coming home from work if they work certain shifts. I don't think that's good for people locally, and I think that, I know the council, the Essex County Council are under pressure, but I think there are probably different decisions that they could have taken.
I mean, take it from a sort of a national point of view. Do you think it seems really strange that Essex turn off its streetlights? Do you think it's very odd?
Well, they haven't done that in my area in Wolverhampton or nearby actually. I have heard about it in certain other areas. I do think it's strange. It's a sort of basic provision, isn't it, really? I think people think that the council should take responsibility for these things, and I would urge Essex County Council to think again.
Your area of expertise is housing. Here in Harlow, over in Thurrock, which is our other newspaper, there's real concerns about the future for young people, or even people now approaching their late 30s, about where they're going to live. It's a great concern, isn't it?
It's a huge concern, especially for those in their 20s and 30s. The average age of the first time buyer now is into their 30s, especially if they don't have the so-called bank of mum and dad, the help of their parents financially. So our mission, our focus really is to double the number of homes being built. We've promised to do that essentially within the course of the next Parliament, so to be building 200,000 homes a year by 2020. As a country, we don't even build half the number of homes that we need. So there's been a failure by this government, but frankly there's been a failure over some decades now in terms of housing.
And finally, regarding housing, because actually when I go back up to my office upstairs and stop freezing here, I've got to put a press release from people from the community who are concerned about the greenbelt. I mean, can you give people I know planning, etc., is a difficult area, isn't it? But can you give people assurances, if Labour get in, about preserving the greenbelt?
Well, we have said that we will maintain the status quo on the greenbelt, which is basically that local authorities do take final decisions about where housing goes, but actually local authorities coming together can take a decision to swap some greenbelt for other areas. We have enough land in this country to have a magnificent countryside, but also to meet housing need and make sure that the younger generation aren't priced out and that families have a decent family home. We haven't even built on 10% of our land, and only just under 2% of our land is for housing. So we have enough land out there to do both of these wonderful things, have a fantastic countryside, but also have the housing we need.